Hello everyone and welcome to a much anticipated reaction. For those of you who don't really know, I absolutely love Interpol as much as I love Radiohead and probably even Nirvana. Naturally, I lost my mind when I knew they were releasing a new record this year and that day has finally come. Si vienes del lado alternativo, bienvenido, bienvenida, espero que disfrutes esto tanto como yo, que estoy seguro que has esperado meses y no es que años para que esto suceda. Let's not make this wait any longer. This is a part when I stop talking and start listening. So remember to stay up to the end for the review, and here we fucking go! Okay, before we begin with Tony, you gotta know I already reacted to this specific song in my other channel, but the reaction is in Spanish, so right now I'm just gonna listen to the song. I already know this one, and I'm gonna give you my thoughts about it. So, let's go. Oh yeah, and it takes a little while to begin. There it is. One of the things I've been loving the most since I listened to this song is how the bass carries almost all the weight of the song. I like to see them win. I like the inspiration, like things going in the right direction, but that's to me. I remember the first time I listened to this song, I was like, where's the guitar? There is the guitar. That's to me, to me, to me, to me. I also thought that part was saying Tony instead of to me. Man, I seriously wish the whole record has this kind of feeling. And as I said during my Spanish reaction to this song, it feels like the band is making music for the whole sake of making music, not a product. It's like they are old and wise enough to just create art. Man, I waited 4 years to do this reaction. When Marauder came out, I wasn't even reacting to records, and just a couple of months after I started to, but damn, I wish I would have reacted to that record too. This one is promising so far, and so let's go to the next one. Right into it. It sounds so heavy, but so Interpol. I don't know how else to describe it. The lyrics though, they really make me think, because Paul is talking about fables and about angels and about God. It's like an essay on his views on God and all of that stuff. You see, I was mistakenly chosen as a god or something. These lyrics are also very heavy. Paul's falsetto always delivers. Sam is also killing it right here. His drumming is so tight. It's such a shame I didn't really get to see him play this live, because when they came here to Mexico, I was there in the concert, but he fell sick and he was replaced by another drummer. That was a letdown, but the concert was pretty good and, well, no complaints though. I just wish I would have seen him play this live. Alright. That sounds weird. Not the guitar itself, but how it's played. Listen. Oh! Oh! A song in 5/4! Oh my god. Daniel is also killing it here. Even though the bass is mostly static nowadays, it's so damn good. It's holding the song together. Oh! progressions, man, they are so dark. My god. The cadences they are using on this song are pretty Beatles-ish. But that chord change right there is so Radiohead. Oh my god, those triplets by Sam on the right. Oh my god, it almost sounds like the tempo slips from his hands on a split second, but no, he knows what he's doing. They are doing an excellent job keeping the groove together in a 5/4 song. That's not easy. Oh my god. I'm still letting it run into Mr. Credit. Yeah. But there was so much happening on that previous song. I don't know. I don't even know where to start.
Nothing left to stop it.
This guitar work, man.
We knew all a part of the game. I wanna be there when you touch.
It's not as harsh as Marauder, but it's definitely one of the harshest things they have released. It sounds like the older they get, the heavier their music also gets. I wonder how will they play when they are like 70. Oh my god, that's such a beautiful modulation. I hear a female voice, I might be wrong, but if there is actually a female guest vocalist on this song, it's kind of ironic a song called Mr. Credit doesn't say featuring, say it artist. I don't know, just an observation. Oh, that's all, but I was really lost on that song. It was just as heavy as the previous ones, but also poppier, much poppier. Oh, something changed.
I waited through the shame for this.
That swing though. The video for this song is pretty weird. Two naked people running and Paul eating an orange. Oh, the song is top tier. Is it me or with each record Sam's drumming gets classier and classier?
Kind of place they'd lay for me. Like rain, like night is coming. We're all part of the same.
And there it goes. So far, so freaking good. I'm getting a grip on how this record is and where Interpol is going right now. But one thing I do have to say is it does sound like they wrote this song separately because of quarantine. And Paul said it in one interview. They were in different parts of the world writing this record, which is something unique. They've never done that before, but well, current times demand a change of approach even for artists. Oh my god, they didn't lose those garage rock influences. I swear this song sounds so 2000, so Black Keys. This is probably the most Marauder song of this record. It's reminding me so much to Fly to Fancy. One thing that does catch my attention is how this song isn't a single yet. It has poppy appeal. It's so accessible. It's probably, along with Toni, the most accessible song on the record. I'm getting metronomy vibes here. Oof. Oh my god! I'm so glad this isn't a Deftones cover as I thought it would be, because it's called Passenger. This is definitely a keeper. Is Paul seriously talking about cheating again? It's like the 5th record on a row. That chord progression. I love how bright it gets right there. And I'm really getting some In Rainbows / A Moon-Shaped Pool vibes here. I hope they were influenced by Radiohead on this one. Oh my god, that guitar work, those drums, even that bass. That was so beautiful. I'm just listening right now. I don't plan to say much about it, except that chorus is heaven sent. This guitar right here and those drums are what reminds me to A Moon-Shaped Pool. And In Rainbows, the tone, the feeling, oh my. But okay, right into the next one. Oh my. What the hell? Odd signature tempos, dark chord progressions, probably heavy lyrics as well. This came in like a freaking bullet. I gotta say though, it's kind of weird because we're not used to it, listening to a guest vocalist with Interpol. No complaints though, but I mean, you have Daniel. Why hasn't Daniel say a word ever since Bright Lights? That's something I don't understand. There it goes. But what a heavy song after the beauty of Passenger. Oh god, this is so ghastly. It sounds like Paul is in a cathedral, singing very in the background.
On the streets of
Cozumel? Like here in Mexico?
so close, I'm taking notes on my way to know you're here again.
I'm just enjoying this song. I don't have too much to say about it as of now, but it does sound like a grower. I swear the guitar work here is amazing. It's probably the most energetic of this record. Oh, that's all. And it's such a shame they didn't play this live when I went to see them. This sounds Turkish or Middle Eastern. That guitar sounds like a hen or something, like a chicken. Quack, 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 quack. I mean, I'm enjoying it, but not my favorite so far. Okay, it's picking it up. I mean, it took me a while to get into this song, but I'm finally doing it. And it's that supersonic quality of the guitar. Alright. Oh, we're into the last one. That is the most Interpol riff I've heard on the entire record. Kinda sounds like Breaker 1 and Song 7. Oh my god! Absolutely love it. This is what I needed right now. It's reminded me so much to El Pintor. I I like how after 20 or so years he is still mentioning the obstacles. No, no, no! That's all. I was absolutely lost on the record. I feel it's criminally short, despite the fact it's the same length as Marauder. And I definitely need to listen to it more than once, but trust me, I will, at least 5 times today. My favorites as of now are definitely Toni, Into the Night, and that last one, Go Easy. Such a great closing track, maybe not as great as Liv Erikson or A Time to Be So Small or Twice as Hard, but it was a great decision to close the record with that song. And so let's go for the review. This is The Other Side of Make Believe, ladies and gentlemen. I've been listening to The Other Side of Make Believe throughout the whole weekend, non-stop. I haven't even shaved, as you can see, and I can't help to have mixed feelings about it. I mean, on one hand, I'm a huge Interpol fan and I'll defend any music they release, but on the other, I don't know, I can't help to feel this could have been much more. Let me start with the things I didn't like, and the main one is that for the first time in their career, an Interpol record doesn't sound fully like Interpol. What I mean is, there are songs here that definitely remind me to El Pintor, Marauder, and even Paul Banks alone, when in the past, well, every single Interpol record has an identity of its own. It's not like Marauder sounds like El Pintor, or El Pintor sounds like Interpol, or Interpol like Our Love to Admire. No, every single one of them has a personality of their own. And I'm not saying this is a copy of anything or the band is just recycling ideas at all, but I do believe the process of writing far apart from each other, as they had to do it because it was quarantine, it really took a toll on this record, and it really shows. It's not like, as usual, they got together, they started jamming, and they got great songs. Not this time. This time it feels like every single one of them work apart from each other, and when they finally got together, they adapted their ideas instead of just letting them out, you know? Let the album be created along the way. That's why this is for me the least cohesive album, even more so than Our Love to Admire or Interpol, and the band was literally falling apart back then. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like some songs are just too slow. I mean, we got energetic tunes like Toni and Passenger and Grand Hotel, but it does sound like they are slowing down more and more, although this isn't necessarily bad. What I did like about The Other Side of Make Believe is something I say during my Spanish reaction to Toni, and that's how Interpol has come to that point in their lives and their careers where they are just creating art, not a product to satisfy an audience. They are adults making music for adults, each time more complex as life itself. And have you heard that saying, it's more difficult to play slower than faster? I think that applies here, especially for Sam. Sam is the true star of this record. His drumming has never been so complex, so accurate and classy. He even sounds like he's playing freeform jazz or something. Also, the drums are more present in the mix than they were on Marauder, and the instruments overall are pretty clean and balanced. But Paul's vocal melodies, in my opinion, leave a lot to be desired on this record. That's why at times it sounds like a Julian Plenty album. His performance is either really solid or incredibly lazy, and the way they promoted this record really fell short this time. I had the chance to meet the band back in May, and you could really tell they were proud about this record, but you could also tell they were not giving 100% promoting it like they did on Marauder. Then the record came out, there was an art exhibition in several cities of the world. I went to the one in Mexico City, and oh boy, it was the most disappointing thing ever. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not the band's fault, it's the promoters who really got it wrong this time, and the day before the release there was a polemic here in Mexico because of this. It translates to "Thanks for being our #1 target market," and it was obviously a translation mistake, but it was displayed in Mexico's World Trade Center in front of dozens, if not hundreds of fans. A lot of people played offended because they weren't really. You know how the internet works. Some people is just waiting for an excuse to be angry at whatever. But it does show how the responsible team of promoting The Other Side of Make Believe here in Mexico didn't do their fucking job properly. But alright, shit happens, and it's not the first time that happens to Interpol. So how does this affect the record in the long run? Well, I doubt it does. It was a messy, messy release, but Interpol has proven to stand the test of time, time after time. It's not easy to get into an Interpol record. It took me years to get into the self-titled, but it happened, and I'm pretty sure it will happen with the other side of make-believe. But so far, my impressions are pretty conflicted. I mean, on one hand, this record could have been more, could have been longer, more polished, but on the other, why does it have to be a product? Interpol has a 20-year career span, and up to this point, I'm just glad they, one, still together, and two, still making music. And to all of the people who, like me, think this record fell short, let me ask you this. Do you remember how you didn't like Our Love to Admire at first, maybe Antics or even Bright Lights? But do you also remember when you listened to them again and were like, holy shit, where has this been all my life? In other words, if you're an Interpol fan who didn't like the other side of Make Believe, I ask you to trust Interpol and trust time that this record will grow on you. And I will do the same, because there's not a single record that hasn't. I added the whole thing to my library because Interpol fanboy here, but if I really had to give it a number, a 7 would be more than fine. And so, that was my reaction/review of The Other Side of Make Believe by Interpol. And man, does it feel good to finally say it. What do you think about this record? Don't forget to leave it in the comments. And if you like what you see, you can always subscribe, as well as checking out my other reactions. My name is Tony Whitburn, and I'll see you in the next one.